In every relationship, words carry weight far beyond their surface meaning. Sometimes they come wrapped in charm or masked as vulnerability, but hidden beneath can be the subtle signs of emotional manipulation, psychological projection, or covert control. According to Carl Jung, the brilliant Swiss psychologist, what we fail to make conscious ends up controlling us from the shadows. This idea of the shadow self, the parts of us we reject, deny, or suppress, applies just as powerfully to relationships. When a man speaks from his unexamined wounds or unconscious patterns, he doesn't just reveal poor communication. He reveals a deeper truth, that his unresolved inner world may soon become your burden. In this video, we'll explore 5 phrases that are more than just red flags. They are warning signs that someone's unhealed shadow is in control. These statements, seemingly innocent at first, can lead you down a path of emotional confusion, stagnation, and self-doubt if not recognized early. Guided by the insights of Jung, Stoic wisdom, and modern psychology, let's uncover the deeper meanings behind these words and why walking away is often the most self-loving choice. 1. You have to accept me as I am. At first glance, this phrase might sound noble, like a plea for unconditional acceptance. It may even strike you as an expression of vulnerability. But listen closely. When a man uses this phrase not as an invitation for connection, but as a shield against accountability, you're dealing with emotional manipulation. What he's really saying is, I refuse to change. You must shrink to accommodate my dysfunction. Carl Jung taught that the journey of growth, what he called individuation, requires confronting our flaws, shadows, and outdated coping mechanisms. True love supports this process. It encourages evolution, not stagnation. A man who expects you to accept poor behavior because that's just how he is not practicing self-awareness. He's resisting it. In this dynamic, you may find yourself doing all the emotional labor while he remains in his comfort zone, untouched and unchanged. Over time, the relationship becomes a place where only one person grows while the other stays still. And that imbalance becomes toxic. The truth is that real acceptance doesn't mean tolerating the unacceptable. You're not here to fix anyone, especially someone who refuses to see the need for growth. If he won't face his shadow, you'll inevitably be the one paying the emotional price for it. 2. All my exes were crazy. This phrase might sound like casual storytelling at first, but it's actually a flashing red light. What this man is telling you, whether he realizes it or not, is that he has never taken accountability for his role in past relationship failures. As Jung warned, what we deny in ourselves, we tend to project onto others. When a man consistently frames his past partners as the sole source of conflict, he's revealing a victim complex and possibly a pattern of manipulation. Behind this phrase lies the unconscious belief, I'm never the problem, everyone else is. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, it's not events that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. If a man has only one interpretation of all his exes, they were crazy, irrational, toxic, then chances are he's avoiding deeper self-reflection. The danger here is not just the inability to grow, it's the inevitable repetition of old patterns. If he hasn't changed, he will repeat those same behaviors. And when the relationship begins to struggle, as all do at times, you'll become the next crazy ex in his story. The bottom line? A conscious man reflects on the past with humility. An unconscious man weaponizes it to avoid introspection. 3. If you really loved me, you'd do what I ask. This is not a request. It's emotional blackmail dressed as vulnerability. On the surface, it might sound like an appeal for understanding, but peel back the layers and you'll find control, coercion, and guilt. What he's really saying is, your love is only valid if you do what I want. Carl Jung warned that shadow behavior often expresses itself through control and manipulation, especially in relationships. This phrase subtly replaces mutual respect with emotional dependency. It conditions your affection, placing you in a trap where love must be proven through obedience. Over time, these demands grow. If you loved me, you'd text me back immediately. If you loved me, you wouldn't hang out with your friends. If you loved me, you wouldn't say no to me. Each time you comply, you lose a little more of your autonomy. Eventually, you stop acting from your center and start acting out of fear. Fear of upsetting him, fear of losing him, fear of not being enough. But love, real love, cannot survive under threat or condition. As Jung emphasized, true relationships are based on individuation, the process of becoming your full self, not erasing who you are to please someone else. If someone tries to manipulate your choices in the name of love, it's not love, it's possession. 4. You're not enough for me. Few words cut deeper than this. This phrase goes straight to the heart of your self-worth. It's meant to destabilize you, to make you question your value, your desirability, your very being. But as Jung would remind us, this statement says more about the speaker than the one being spoken to. What he's really revealing is, I feel empty inside, and I need to make you feel small to regain control. Psychological projection is at play here. When someone is deeply insecure or filled with unresolved shame, they often try to export those feelings onto others. By making you feel not enough, they avoid confronting their own sense of inadequacy. This tactic creates an addiction to their approval. You start working harder, giving more, changing yourself, silencing your intuition to meet their ever-moving standards. But the truth is, you were never the problem. You were just caught in the orbit of someone who can only feel powerful by making others feel powerless. The Stoics remind us, your value is intrinsic. It doesn't depend on another's validation. A man who sees your worth doesn't diminish it. He honors it. And if he can't do that, he's not your mirror. He's your warning. 5. Do whatever you want, said passive-aggressively. On the surface, this sounds like permission, freedom even, but said with sarcasm, coldness, or resentment, it's a trap. It's not real permission. It's emotional setup. What he's really saying is, go ahead, but you'll pay for it later. This phrase is a classic form of covert aggression, what Jung described as the shadow expressing itself indirectly. Instead of stating needs or setting boundaries like an emotionally mature person, he speaks in riddles and expects you to decode hidden messages. If you make the wrong choice, he punishes you, not with open anger, but with guilt, withdrawal, or silence. This creates a dynamic where you're always walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate moods and tiptoe around unspoken rules. Seneca, the Stoic, believed that communication should be honest and clear. But this phrase does the opposite. It confuses, distorts, and destabilizes. In such a relationship, you're not a partner, you're a mind reader, and that's not a fair or sustainable role. The healthiest response: take him at his word. If he says do whatever you want, then do it, freely and without guilt. Don't engage in emotional decoding. His silence is not your responsibility. His resentment is not your problem to solve. Walking away from the shadow. Carl Jung believed that every person must face their shadow to become whole. But you are not responsible for someone else's unexamined darkness. You are not here to be the healer of men who refuse to heal themselves. The 5 phrases explored here are not just unpleasant. They are symptoms of deeper emotional immaturity and unconscious patterns. Each one is a clue that the man behind them is not operating from love, but from fear, ego, or insecurity. And here's the hard truth. You can't build a conscious relationship with someone who lives unconsciously. Your job is not to shrink, fix, or constantly prove your worth. Your job is to grow, thrive, and protect the harmony between your thoughts, words, and deepest values. If someone's language is filled with manipulation, blame, or projection, that's not your partner. It's your warning. A woman who knows her worth doesn't trade peace for confusion. She doesn't stay in relationships that ask her to betray herself. She listens to her intuition, even when the charm is thick, even when it hurts to leave. And most importantly, she walks away not because she's weak, but because she's strong enough to choose herself.